Designers are moving towards classic hair shapes, and stylists take a bold stance to redefine these feminine shapes to fit today's woman. The Marc Jacobs Show always celebrates individuality and personal expression, and not surprisingly, this show was one of the season's most talked about productions, setting the trend for redefining shapes. All right, here we are just moments before the big Marc Jacobs Show, always one of the biggest shows of the week here in New York, and we're going to go backstage, catch up with Guido to see how he's working his magic. Come on. Let's sort of talk about Marc's vision for this particular season. Can you tell me what he was sort of imagining and how the hair works with the clothes?
Well, he talked about, you know, like Liz Taylor, Anne Bancroft, all those sort of beautiful women from the 60s and 50s who were kind of sometimes a little bit distraught, but they had amazing, beautiful hair. So it's her, so kind of American women, iconic, beautiful women. So that was the sort of inspiration for the hair. And the clothes are sort of, you know, even though they're a little crazy and all that, they're marked, they're beautiful, you know, beautiful fabrics, beautiful dresses. There's always a femininity about them. They're always about a woman. The thing about doing a do nowadays, we're so unused to doing them that they have to feel free and easy and not too uptight bits falling out. So by the time the girls go on the runway, this will be quite disheveled. But there'd be the idea that it was a do. And that's what Marc wanted, the idea that a woman had set her hair, teased it. So it's a broken down version that hopefully makes it feel modern.
Now let's go to Milan to see what they have on the runway for spring 2008. Guido puts a modern twist on a classic chignon shape for Moschino.
Moschino's always had a kind of history of being slightly whimsical. So that was in my mind. And then she said that she definitely wanted the hair up. And I have been actually in editorials working a lot this season with shapes. So it's something I've been doing in Vogue magazine and stuff like that, using pads again. So I'm always trying to find out about new shapes, you know, new ways of sort of presenting hair in fashion. I'm doing like a little hairdo, which you don't see often on the runway. It's kind of a classic shape, making it a little bit more extreme. It's like a chignon. Normally chignons we see at the back of the head, but I'm doing it right at the front, using like a little hat. So almost sending the idea of like lady chic up a little bit. I did use the touch control texturized whip as a base again, just to put something into the hair. So when I did want to dress it over my donut, it was easier to manage. And then I'll just use a little quick dry hairspray towards the end to secure it. You could translate this. Maybe your chignon wouldn't be so big. Maybe, you know, I mean, it's a very classic shape, really. It's like a 40s kind of shape. So it's very classic. It's whether your client is going to go to a party or somewhere fun that they want to have something a bit special.
At the Yoli show in New York, a classic shape was modernized with inspiration from the Southwest.
It was inspired by the Indians, actually, and how they do their hair, but I put a spin on it and made it more modern. And I like the shape and the silhouette that it creates, but it also enhances the little girl in every woman. So I like the tease of that.
To create the look today for the Yoli show, we have layered in 3 layers of the guts. Spray it and dry it, spray it, dry it, putting some quick dry in between as well. And then we've sort of, with our fingers, just done a nice loose center part all the way through, and then pulling it up into two ponytails, really high. It's just sort of soft with lots of texture through it. And then just wrapping them really tightly around, like she's sort of done it herself, just sort of loose and cute and youthful and playful. To translate this look for a client in the salon, I would probably use a little less texture, make it a little smoother, and make it maybe not so messy. But I mean, I think this is pretty wearable for a really pretty young girl.
Hair is really important. It's the crowning silhouette.
Runway promises an edgy collection. Let's see what's in store for spring 2008. Luella Bartley returned to London for her Spring-Summer 2008 show. Her collection contradicted sweet with street, and the designer turned to Guido to create redefined classic hair shapes.
What we're doing a few little different characters for this show. So we're doing these crazy, like, bunny ears, all very girly, all sort of things that maybe a young girl might do to her hair if she's being a little bit rebellious. But still cute, something everyone can do. None of these hairstyles are things that we can't tell our clients they can do.
It's very much a character-driven show. So when we got there, we realised she's quite an individual. She's a bit weird, a bit geeky, you know, cute, feminine. And so I kind of laid all that on Guido, and he came up with these amazing little hairstyles. You know, we've got the like ears, and it's very individual, and it's very, you know, little items everywhere, and everyone's got their kind of individual look.
I mean, we started again with the Redken thickening lotion, again, which I've been using all in New York to create that thick texture, that dull texture I've been talking about this season. And also we've got hair turned under, similar to Marc Jacobs actually, but Marc Jacobs we exaggerated by teasing up into that bubble. But using the same kind of technique is folding the hair under, very easy when you've got the product in. A side part, and then I'm using a bobby pin here to add to it sort of like ease and femininity, and you know, like a little girl would do something like that. It's something we can all do at home.
Here we are literally on the runway at the Marc Jacobs show. Take a look at your first fashion cut, a step-by-step guide on the most important hair trends of the season.
What I'm having to do is go through all the stages of doing a perfect do. Putting a Redken thickening lotion on to get me the body. So I'm setting the hair first on hot rollers, and so it holds the curl. Brushing it through and then teasing it. I'm creating a 50s shape, like round, height at the back. So remembering that when I'm teasing it, I'm forming a shape. So when ladies tease their hair, remember what you're trying to achieve. I'm going for an overall shape, so I'm teasing evenly to get a full shape. If I get the right amount of teasing in, I can literally like just place it with my hands, and then literally what I'm going to do is catch it like I'm going to do a pony, and then tuck it up.
That's nice.
So then that gives me like a nice neck shape. So that's the idea.
So it's really big and teased, yet there's kind of a softness to it and a lot of movement. It isn't kind of like helmet hair.
And obviously, because, you know, we've got a few hours to go, it's going to get a little bit more soft and softer. So the idea, it's there, the do was there, but it's gone. So, you know, with something like a hairdo like this, if you want it to be like sexy and that girls want to wear their hair like it, do you know what I mean? That's always when it's, it always kind of works, even though obviously we have to exaggerate it a little bit for a show.